168.5 kilos, and increases the world record by just half a kilo and takes it away from Georgi Markov of Georgia. What a good series. 160, 165 and 168.5.
And I'd argue that that was the best of the already knew that he had the gold medal.
Now, not only has he got a world record, but he's also got a 5 kilo advantage, because only 167.5 of those kilos count, but he's 5 ahead of Georgi Markov and Andrei Kozlowski. There it is, you can see the facts and figures there. Only 2 men putting in a clean series, but it's the experience of the Armenian over the youth of Georgi Markov. So Kozlowski of Poland so near to that 165 that would have given him the bronze medal. And Ingo Steinhoffel of Germany, I'm afraid, a very, very poor start. Down in 8th place, and he's got to really pull something special out in a clean and jerk to pull himself to any sort of medal contention.
Just looking at the change cards there. The athletes all weigh in 2 hours before the competition, and they have to give in their starting poundages, but they are allowed 2 changes. Anyway, we're going to take a short break, but we'll be back after these messages.
Welcome back to La Coruña. Absolutely spot on time for the first clean and jerk. And this is Ergun Batmaz. Batmaz, who after the first phase of this competition, with some work to catch up.
No lift, movimiento nulo, 180 kilograms.
I don't really know what the problem was there. Whether he's lost interest after not snatching 160, or perhaps he's injured himself in the warm-up. Who knows?
I think there's a big problem about the whole of Turkish weightlifting, David. I mean, they've gone out like a light. They have been caught out in random dope tests. Certainly the women, less so the men. But since 1994, 1995, they have not been the force. I'll leave everybody to draw their own conclusions about that. But apart from Halil Mutlu,
the others are adjusting the goods. That's right.
Mutlu, Suleimanoglu until Atlanta.
And in some ways, they seem to be selecting weights that they used to be able to do. They're not being realistic. They're not as strong as they were.
Now, as we see Batmaz coming out, let me just emphasize that Christos Spirou of Greece, who finished 6th in the snatch phase of this competition. He was the man who won the B group ranking competition earlier in the day. At the moment, he leads the clean and jerk. He actually clean and jerked 190 kilos. So Batmaz gets that on his second attempt, but just to be on terms with Christos Spirou, you have to 190 kilos. And in fact, he'd have to go a bit further to overtake him because he's heavier than Spirou. And Spirou was the Greek who this morning dislocated his elbow, attempting 195 kilos the third time. Very, very unlucky. Now, Steenhoffel.
Ja, was sind das jetzt? 82 erstmal für den Badmatch.
Steinhuffel had a bit early, the bar at the moment at 182.5.
It's gone up to 185. Again, I mentioned earlier on what he was doing in training. He was clean and jerking 195, so I wouldn't have expected him to come out at 180 or 182 or anything like that. And he's got a lot of ground to make up. At the moment, he's, of course, 10 kilos off the lead.
Come hot.
Thumbs heavily taped.
Member of the Chemnitz club. And gets it there, but he's not happy. I think he's so disappointed with what went on in the first half that almost nothing's going to make him happy today, because he knows that he's coming from so far back.
There's also the physio was spraying his shoulders with some of that freeze spray, which suggests that perhaps he's got an injury, and if he was injured in that part of the back, it would affect your lockout in the second phase, which was the problem there.
In the German Bundesliga, he's lifted 192.5 this season. Never mind, here comes Georgi Markov. Already with a silver medal at senior level, his first silver in the top division. And
I think opening up on a personal best.
Opening up 7.5 kilos more than he won the Junior European Clean and Jerk division.
That's a good, solid start. Gives him 350.
Takes him to the top of the table, deposes Christos Spiro of Greece. Ingo Steinhoffel in third place at the moment on 342.5.
Ingo Steinhofer from Germany scored.
And you've got a feeling that inside his head he's got Sydney clearly in mind.
190 kilograms on the bar, please. 190 por favor.
There's the new world record holder.
Kapanassian, Armenia. Kapanassian, Armenia en la plataforma.
Kakhatur Kakhanekyan. 190 kilos at the moment on the bar, and this is what he's going to open up at.
Yes, not such a force in the clean and jerk, so that lead in the snatch will have done him some good.
Exactly what I was thinking. The 5 kilos, those precious 5 kilos, allow him perhaps to really lift within his own ability. He could get this overall gold medal as a result of those 5 kilos, but he's got to get 3 lifts in here.
So there it is. So he now has 357.5, goes into the lead on the total.
But actually only into second place in the clean and jerk at the moment, because he's that bit heavier than Christoph Spirou of Greece. And he's 2.5 kilos below what he achieved in the World Championships in the clean and jerk in November. Ahmed Yilmaz, Turkey. ...160 kilos in 4th place at the halfway stage. Oh, for a Turk who could put a series of lifts together.
Cleaned well. Yeah, you seem to be getting rid of it really quick. There's a bit of a contradiction going on in here, really, because you've got quite a few injuries because of the hall being quite cold, yet you're still getting a lot of people who are getting dizzy with the bar across the shoulders, and that happens when you're in a very warm hall.
Romania. Razvan Ili, opening lift. Bar still on 190.
And again, looking dizzy.
Just getting it that little bit too close to the windpipe.
Of course, a lot of these lifters training at 4 to 6 kilos over the weight limit, having to dehydrate, and of course that causes cramps and causes the blackouts as well.
Well, if you were with us a little earlier on, or even if you weren't, Plamen Yeliazkov, the world and European champion until today in the 69 kilo class. This is the category he's now planning to move up into. Had lost his European title to his own teammate, Galavin Borevsky, who's sitting alongside us in the commentary box with our Bulgarian colleague. There's Halil Mutlu on the left there, a pocket Hercules as he is now, and he's the one bright spark in the whole of the Turkish squad. I mean, even he, everybody fired up. Interesting there, Steinhoffel.
Steinhoffel opting to jump to 192.5. And he'd had the 2 changes. You could see there 190 and then 192.
Only allowed the 2.
Means well.
This time he's put it together.
And that's better.
He's very sharp at letting the bar go, and one day he's going to get caught, I think. Teacher by profession.
Nice positioning on the jerk.
So just looking at that, 190 kilos from him.
This puts him on 350.
Finished 3rd in the world, but a lot of his progress last year was down to his good snatching. Now this is the Romanian back, still the bar on 190. That looks a better position. But did he have the strength?
Well, he's in real trouble now. Snatched 157.5. He's now had 2 failures on 190. So one more failure would put him out of the competition. As you say, David, cleaned better than the first time.
But that split, really, that shot showed you
that the hips were being left behind the bar. The hips really need to be underneath the bar with that kind of weight overhead.
World standard, 205 kilos. Nobody's achieved that. That was the new mark set on the 1st of January 1998 when the categories were realigned. Closest anybody's got, Zlatan Vanev, the world champion, who's got 202.5, which is also the European standard. That might well survive tonight. You just saw Niku Vlad there really trying to motivate Razvan. So this, to ensure a total. A failure here will leave him with just 157.5 kilos from his snatch and a poor, disappointing 7th place in that. Again, the clean's okay.
No, same mistake again. Hips well behind the bar. And this is in fact to initial coaching.
Just take us through that. Here we should get a view of it. Just watch the hips.
Just cleans the bar well. Now, as he drives the bar overhead, his hips need to go under the bar, and you can see that he's left them right behind. And this is a problem that really should be corrected when you first start weightlifting.
Bad habits.
Yes, bad habits die hard.
Tanev. Now this is where he's got to make his rise up the ranks. Tanev in 5th place after the snatch with only 157.5 kilos, which is 10 off the lead. But this is where his strength really lies. He's capable of 202.5. He lifted this, which is equal record, that 202.5 in the World Championships, but he was the 2nd man to do it. That's why Vanev has his name to the record.
So still very dangerous.
Very dangerous. But he's got 10 kilos to make.
Very good. Very nice technique.
His build as well tells you that he's a lot more suited to this than the snatch. But Tanev now puts himself a little closer to the action. He's gone into 2nd place overall with this. Total of 350, but he's still 7.5 kilos behind Kapyaniksian.
So this lift should put Steinhoffel back, perhaps with a chill on the clean and jerk, if successful.
Steinhoffel 76 kilos 60, Peter Tanev 76.14. Tanev now leading, of course, the clean and jerk.
Cleans well. Now he needs to improve on that jerk, which he does. Now that's more like it. Yes.
One more chance, and he and Frank Mantek, the head coach for Germany, have now got to work out very carefully the next target, because it's the final target for him. Steinhoffel into 2nd place in the clean and jerk. And he's now up to 5th overall. And in fact, one of 4 men on 350 kilos at the moment. Now, here's the man who's in the overall lead.
Yes, and if you notice, he's only taking a 2.5 kilo jump. He knows that every kilo counts, because although he was 10 kilos ahead of Tanev, he'll be fully aware that Tanev is capable of 202.5, which, of course, would put him in the lead.
Well, this will restore his 10 kilo advantage. Moments ago, Tanev had reduced it to 7.5. And he did lift this in the World Championships. 15 seconds. Bar looking heavy. Certainly is heavy. Needs this. Come on. Fighting for this. He knows this could be his night. He's got 3 whites. And he's maybe gone as far as he can go. He's got one more chance, which will be, I'm absolutely sure, 195. But it's down to Tanev. Tanev, who's got 2 lifts to close a 10-kilo deficit.
Yes, and of course, Tanev being the lighter.
I know what you're saying. It's 12.5 kilos. It means that he's got to go all the way to a new world record.
But let's not forget about this man. A success on this would, of course, put him into the lead on the clean and jerk and the overall.
Well, this was always going to be nip and tuck, and it's the way it's turning out. Kozlowski, like, very good. Kozlowski, a little bit like Tanev, coming from down the order, and he goes straight into the lead in the clean and jerk with 195, and he's pushed himself up into 2nd place overall with 357.5, which is only 2.5 kilos behind the Armenian.
Arsen Balikian from Armenia is called first attempt. Arsen Balikian, Armenia.
And perhaps more relevantly, he's got 2 more lifts to go. And Kozlowski is lighter than the Armenian. So fortune's really swaying now. Now here's the man who's in 9th place after phase with only 157.5, but it's so close that if these men can pull these sort of weights over their head, dramatic changes in the overall order will continue.
Well, that just looked too heavy, David.
That could well be a big misjudgment.
Yes, he doesn't look very solid in that low position. He seems to sort of round his back and collapse.
Georgi Markov from Bulgaria is called second attempt. Georgi Markov, Bulgaria, segundo intento. Arsen Balikian, Armenia.
Georgi Markov, 15 kilos up on junior European clean and jerk gold medal effort.
Listen, doing the same in this as he did in the snatch, taking a jump of 7.5 kilos. But if you remember on his snatches, as the weight got heavier, he seemed to look better.
So this would take him up to 357.5, and it would put him into 2nd place overall. So Markov with another opportunity, but that bar is looking seriously heavy. Interesting, you're saying, David, that's a platform really good with that deck paint they put on it.
Idea.
Really gives you a very solid serve. You don't slip around. Got a good grip. Well, I wonder whether 1 or 2 of these men might have got caught out, because this bar moved very quickly up in weight. Oh. Well, I thought after that huge struggle he was going to get there, but the omens are not good, I'm afraid, for a third lift. Do you think he'll take it?
It's difficult to say. He fell with his first two snatches. I think his coaches need to, in future, need to pick his weights more carefully, because this is a limit lift. I mean, just look how he has to fight through that biting point.
Quite
He's
lucky.
really got nothing left after that.
I was going to say he was quite lucky when he fell, because he could have really been caught even more nastily.
Well, when you think that's 430 pounds on that bar, and it's not just for 430, because when you chuck it up in the air, of course, it's more like 500 pounds.
Meanwhile, the third and final attempt of the new world snatch record holder.
Yes, and he's really building slowly on the clean and jerk, just 2.5 kilo jumps, realizing that every kilo counts.
Kozlowski of Poland with 2 clean and jerks to come, and only 2.5 kilos behind in the overall title. He really could do with this, because again, must emphasize, Kozlowski is that little bit lighter.
So 19 seconds.
He's got the time, but has he got the strength? Got to believe in this.
It's going to be tight. No, cleans well.
That's not a bad clean at all. Want this. He's got to. Oh, he did want it, but he just didn't have the strength.
So he now has the agonizing position of having to just sit back and hope that he's done enough.
Well, surely he's done enough to get an overall medal, but what color will it be? He's got 360 kilos.
Georgi Markov from Bulgaria is called. Third attempt, Georgi Markov, Bulgaria.
So
American, Armenian.
that compares actually with last November, 355, so he's up 5 kilos with his total. And he equaled his best clean and jerk, but where he really profited this evening was in the snatch. 162.5 kilos in the World Championships, and up to that 168.5, but of course only 167.5 counting. But it's still not going to be a bad journey home. This is his teammate.
Must be the Bulgarian next. I think they've got the order wrong. Unless the Bulgarian wants more. Well, this is in the same position as he was after the first 2 snatch attempts. 1 attempt left to make a total. First lift was nowhere near. Second one, he cleaned it, but it was very, very hard.
And the clock is counting down 23 seconds at the moment.
That's better. Now, has he got anything left? Well, it was definitely the best of the 3 efforts, but unfortunately he fouls with that 195 3 times, and he's left without a total.
A lot of energy expended in the 2 failures, and also this third clean, although it was the best of the 3, it took a lot out of him. Andrei Kozlowski now. Now this 197.5, extra 2.5 kilos will take him up to 360 and will give him the overall lead if he can do it. Very good clean. Chucks it overhead, brings that left foot. Oh! thought he was there, David. I really thought he was there. Kapanixian, I wish we could see his face watching the TV monitor, because he would have breathed a big sigh of relief there.
It's good clean. Oh, looks as if he's got it, as he did on that third snatch, and then loses it right at the last minute.
He only needed that to go into the lead. Now Yilmaz, Mehmet Yilmaz.
So the tactics coming in now.
But this is his third lift. I remember he's got 190, so he's going up for a 7.5 kilo increase. Now, this cannot take the lead in the overall championship, but it could take the lead in the clean and jerk. Possible consolation prize.
Oh, cleans well. Now. Well, it was a good effort.
He finished fourth in the snatch, and he's fifth, I'm afraid, in the clean and jerk, and current fourth equal overall with Georgi Markov in terms of kilos lifted. 4 men, in fact, on 350 kilos.
So now Steinhoffel didn't do very well in the snatch, but coming out here now for his third attempt on 197.5, which of course would put him, if successful, into gold medal position on the clean and jerk.
And for the moment, it would take him into third place overall as well. But the likes of Tanev have still got lifts to come. Kozlowski also, and Georgi Markov.
Oh, that's good.
Needs this.
Oh, yes!
Oh,
that!
Yes.
Yes!
On the stage. And that's the comeback, because he's put himself into surely a medal for the clean and jerk. But remember, still Kozlowski, still Tanev, still Markov to lift, so he could be deposed.
Well, Steinhoffel told me that his main inspiration at the moment is the Olympic Games. He intends to retire after that.
Well, he's represented Germany in 3 previous Olympic Games, 88 when he got the silver medal, Barcelona when he was 5th, and Atlanta when he was 6th. He's a terrific servant to German weightlifting. And now Georgi Markov, 197.5 kilos. Now, he failed 195. So this is a 10 kilo increase. And 17.5 kilos up on his junior European clean and jerk. Well, this will be utterly amazing if he pulls this off. Amaze me, amaze me.
We're utterly amazed. Just look at that. And I think he can't believe it either.
Absolutely incredible. He's used the time he's had to rest and compose himself, and Georgi Markov, at the age of 20, takes himself into the lead in the clean and jerk and the overall lead. He has overtaken Kapanixian. Unbelievable. Now, we knew that this was a young man for the future, but we expected him to fully arrive today. And he could win this. Kozlowski gets it up there, gets the lift, but Markov is lighter overall, remember that, and Kozlowski is only into 2nd place. There are 3 men on 360, but Markov is the lightest of the 3. Well, what a turnaround, David. What a turnaround.
But the bar is now that magic 200 kilos figure, 440 pounds.
It's not all over. Tanev has got 2 lifts to go. 200.
He's got 1 lift which he could take the clean and jerk gold in, and then he's got another lift where he can put on whatever he likes to go for the overall, or whatever he needs, I should say.
We go back to his words. I knew I'd be on the podium at the World Championships. I knew my training was good. I'd worked hard in Sofia. The silver that I got in Lahti, I take that as a great reward for my patience. It was the first competition at elite level, and so it was wonderful for me to be just 2.5 kilos away from the gold. I know and I hope to be on top next year. Amazing effort there by Georgi Markov. But now Tanev all to do. Half a minute.
And he's actually upped the bar to 202.5 kilos.
This is to equal the world record, which is held by his teammate Zlatan Vlanev, but I emphasize that he actually did lift this weight in the World Championships, but he just lifted it second.
Now, would this lift not actually give him the lead? Come on, hold on. That's the gold medal.
Tanev,
That's the gold medal.
Markov rejoices. Tanev takes over. Both in the clean and jerk and in the total, and he's got 1 lift to go, and they put the bar, or they've ordered the bar to go to 205.
Let's just look at this. Now, did his elbows touch his knees there? Because there's protest.
205 kilograms on the bar, please.
That is amazing. That is amazing.
Well, it'd be good if we could actually see this again. Now.
Right, let's look at these elbows.
That is a touch.
That was an elbow touch.
That is a touch.
Yeah. So, in reality, that was a no lift. So, Mirzoyan, the Armenian coach, is saying it was an elbow-knee touch, and the jury are saying no. But I have to say, I agree with the Armenian coach. It was an elbow-knee touch.
Certainly was.
So I suppose the ideal thing now would be for Tanev to come out and do this 205 without an elbow-knee touch, just to sort of...
But is he? Is he going to come out?
After a few minutes, the winning ceremony will be held. Después de unos minutos, ceremonia de victoria.
Well, a bit of confusion in the hall here. The jury don't have the advantage of television, but if they had got a television set, they would have seen that.
And it doesn't look as if Tanev is coming out for 205.
Well, there'll be controversy about this. They'll replay it, but the situation is that Bulgaria are first and second. Here we go again. Watch the elbows. That's a touch. There are 3 referees. There are 5 men on the jury. 8 men, 16 eyes, and none of them saw it. So at the end, this is the snatch result that you can see. This is confirmation that Kapanixian of Armenia took the snatch gold medal with a new world record of 168.5 and gave himself a 5 kilo advantage because only 167.5 kilos of that total count ahead of Georgi Markov and Andrei Kozlowski. And look at Peter Tanev, way down with just 157.5. That was the situation at the half age. But of course, the whole competition turned around in the second phase in the clean and jerk. So many men moving up. And quite a lot of consternation. Double Olympic champion Nurican in the room there, but this is it. Peter Tanev not taking the last lift, but 202.5 to equal the world record, maybe arguably in controversial circumstances, but nonetheless the referee's decision is final, and he, the world silver medalist, now becomes the European champion of 1999, ahead of Georgi Markov. And what two talents the Bulgarians have found in this class. And I tell you what, if Yeliashkov, the Bulgarian from 69, is going to move up, he's going to have something to deal with here.
Няма основания за констатация да подадат. Каква констатация или изобщо не ги прилага?
President, награждение на Танев. Please check it and check it.
So Peter Tanev getting dressed up, ready for the medal ceremony. I suppose if you look at it in one sense, the reason for the controversy, David, is the fact that you've got all these men, 4 men finishing on 360 kilos, and body weight deciding it. Tanev, the lightest, 76.14, ahead of Georgi Markov, 76.38. Then Kozlowski of Poland, 76.46, and Kampianiczyan in place, missing out, and that's the reason why that Armenian coach was out there to say he touched. That was not a good lift.
Yes, well, we knew right from the start that it was going to be a close competition, and we knew that medals were going to be decided on body weight, and as you say, first 4 places all total the same. So it was purely body weight that decided who got the medals and what colour they were.
Yet again, now watch this left elbow. You really need to absolutely slow that down, don't you?
Nevertheless, he achieved 3 white lights, which means that all the referees are in agreement, and there's no way that the jury can reverse.
Well, it's been a fascinating competition. Bulgaria, there you are, gold and silver. Sevdalin Minchev, the 62-kilo champion for the Bulgarians. And then a little earlier today, Galibin Bursky taking the title in the 69-kilo category, and now the 3rd Bulgarian to win a European title. 4 out of the 8 categories competed, and 3 of them have gone.